also, we have the former Speaker of the Michigan House of Representatives, great friend and candidate for governor, Tom Leonard.
Well, I want to be brief. I can feel the energy in this room tonight, but I want to bring in even more. And I was shocked when I walked into the room tonight and I was talking to a couple people. I had no idea that there has never been an Albanian in Congress in the history of our country. So I want to know right now, who in this room is ready to do everything they can to ensure that we send Robert to Congress next November as the first Albanian? I want to make certain that every single one of his opponents can hear us right now. So I want to know who's ready to send Robert, the first Albanian in the history of our country, to Congress next November. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing the support of him. Much like Mike, I got to tell you, I am biased towards prosecutors. That is my background. I was a prosecutor at Flint. I was an assistant attorney general. I was the former speaker, and I was President Trump's nominee to be the U.S. attorney for the Western District of Michigan. But most importantly, I'm a husband and I'm a dad. And when people ask why I'm running for governor, it's because of these three right here. My 8-year-old, my 5-year-old, and my 1-year-old. And the last thing that I want is for my kids to come to me and tell me, Dad, I've got to leave the state of Michigan for better opportunity in another state because there's not opportunity for me here in this state. So that's why we're going to work every single day to make certain that we win in November. And as the state's next governor, I cannot wait to have an incredible partner in Congress just like Robert, or have Robert there in Congress, that's going to do everything he can to ensure that Michigan is a top 10 growth state again. Is everybody ready to win in November? Yeah! Let's go get it done. Thank you for having me, Robert. It's an honor to be here, my friend.
Now we're going to hear from a couple of our representatives who are doing battle against the Whitmer administration up in Lansing. The guys who passed a road plan last time I checked to fix the damn roads. Let's start, got to start with my state representative, Joe Aragona.
My name is Joe Aragona. I represent the middle of Macomb County and the state legislator. I'm here with my colleague Ron Robinson. I believe Doug Wozniak is around somewhere. We have the majority in the House of Representatives. We don't have the majority in the Senate. We passed a roads plan to help fix your roads. $3.4 billion we allocated without raising your money, without raising your taxes. You guys want your taxes raised, or you just want us to make some cuts and actually fix the damn road? What do you guys think? There you go. That bill right now, that bill right now is currently stuck in the Senate. Why? Because it's got Democratic control. We took votes today on bills to keep men out of women's bathrooms. Every Republican voted for it. Every Democrat voted against it. Is that the type of leadership that you guys expect in the state house or the state legislature? Let me ask you something. Is that the type of leadership you want in Washington, D.C.? No. Then we got to get out and we got to do hard work for Robert Lulgjuraj for Congress. The margin in Congress is so thin that majority will go through the 10th congressional district. If Robert doesn't win and we don't return a majority, we will have President Trump being brought to court. All of the tax cuts, all of the things that he's done for small business will go away. They will try and do everything they can to stop him. That's why we need a fighter. That's why we need somebody smart like a prosecutor. That's why we need Robert Lulgjuraj for Congress. Do me a favor, I just want you to raise your hand real quick if you're an Albanian American or if you're of Albanian descent. Who are, look at this. How beautiful is that? Guys, my people, I'm an Italian American. My people came here about 100 years ago. I'm a third generation Italian American. I'm very proud to represent my people as much as I possibly can. But I'm a red-blooded American, I love this country, and I know Robert does too. And I'm so excited for you guys to have the first Albanian congressperson ever to go to Washington, D.C. Let's give Robert a welcome.
And we have that majority in the State House of Representatives right now because of this next speaker. Anybody here from Sterling Heights? Yeah. Well, let's introduce you to your state representative, Ron Robinson.
I want to start by saying I feel, even though I'm not from where Robert's from, I feel a kinship to him because, as many of you may or may not know, I'm a freshman state representative from the 58th district. And I want to tell you a little bit of my story and how it ties into what Robert's doing here, because what he's doing is so important. I can't emphasize enough that we're in a very interesting time right now. It comes down to good versus evil in a lot of cases. Men playing women's sports, men being, these are ridiculous issues that we have to vote on in 2025, right? But I ran for office because I felt during COVID there was way too much government overreach. And the mayor of Utica, Gus Calandrino, said, well, quit complaining and run for office. And I did that. And the reason I did that is because I didn't recognize the world I grew up in. And I know that's how many of you feel. It's just things have gone so far off the rail. And when I got to Lansing, I realized how convoluted it was and how much red tape there was and how much bureaucracy and how much just negative energy. And now more than ever, the people that step up and care and said, that's not the world we want to live in. I want everybody to imagine if Kamala Harris would have won the election. Can you imagine what our world would be like right now? I want to remind you that we are one election from having that scenario again. That's why it's so important what Robert's doing. And the reason I feel a kinship to Robert is not because we ran for office. It's because we did it for the right reasons. We want to make a difference and make this world a better place for our children, like Tom Leonard said. And so the reason I feel a kinship to Robert is because he understands what it's going to take. And I want you to understand what it's going to take. When I got into politics, I was blown away about how much money it takes just to run a campaign. Pre-politics, you're like, that's just absurd. But when you find out how much mailers are, how much TV ad money is, it takes a village. And I'm telling you right now, we're in a very important time in our history where it could go either way. And it's guys like Robert who step up and make a difference. And I want to make sure you understand how important your role is in that. Because Robert can't do what he wants to do and make this world a better place for not just you folks, but every American. And so I just want you to understand that this is a long haul, and I want you to make sure that you back Robert every step of the way, because it does take money, it does take time, it takes a lot of work. But thank you, Robert, for stepping up. I really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me speak, and God bless America. Thank you.
That's Ron Robinson beat a Democrat in the 2024 election, and that's what gave us the majority in the State House of Representatives. Thank you for making the majority, and thank you for the job you're doing in Lansing. Next great leader that we have is the state rep from where we're standing right now, my good friend Doug Wozniak.
So, this is a great crowd for this type of function, probably one of the largest crowds I've ever seen. And I think that's a tribute to Robert. Let's give him a round of applause. So my colleagues, Joe Aragona and Ron Robinson, pretty much covered what we're doing in Lansing. We're fighting for you, we're lowering taxes, we're trying to put the buck back in your pocket. We're trying to protect your families, and we're trying to keep the police out there where they belong. So we're doing all of that, and the reason we're doing that is because of you. Now, I was hesitant to come tonight because I couldn't figure out how to say Robert's last name. So I did figure out I could just call him Robert. So my endorsement for this position in the U.S. Congress goes to Robert.
This next speaker, you may, if you were attended any Trump rallies last year, you may recognize him from his time up on stage with the president. It is the president of the Police Officers Association of Michigan and one of the great fighters for law and order and the men and women who wear the badge in this state, Jim Tiganelli.
And if there's anyone in here who voted for a candidate to defund the police, you made a wrong turn someplace while you walked in the store, okay? I just want you to know that I've been in District 10 since 1976. And I wanted, for those of you that are new to this district or have been here and don't know the history, I have to give you a quick 90-second lesson on it. Because here's what District 10 is. And I want you to remember that when you watch the national elections next year, you have some smiling face with a big screen and a lot of flashing lights on it. At some point that night, somebody's going to say, what's going on in Macomb? The whole freaking country wants to know what's going on in Macomb. And it's this district that is the heart of Macomb right here, District 10. Very important, all of you. I've heard the discussions about